Hello, my name is Joshua, and you're watching Let's Roll It, tabletop gaming information and news. Today we're going to talk about card games. There are a handful of card games coming out, so let's get started. Okay, you have, this fall you have Steve Jackson Games releasing a few Munchkin releases. Yes, that's right, we're going to talk about Munchkin yet again. You have Munchkin Apocalypse being released, which is kind of ironic considering all the talk of that apocalypse that's supposed to be happening in December. So I guess if you really want to make sure you play this game before the apocalypse, go buy Munchkin Apocalypse while you can. This game adds the same types of things, but with the apocalyptic theme. You're a survivor of the apocalypse, and your goal is to get treasure, kill the bad guys, level up, and win the game. And in this case, you have these disaster cards that are either going to be natural or unnatural. I mean, you think apocalyptic, there's some things that are just regular things that are going to happen. I mean, think floods, hurricanes, volcanoes, that kind of stuff. But then you have unnatural things, unnatural fire falling from the sky, maybe, or something along those lines that's not quite as normal. And while you're on the hunt for treasure, you, of course, have to have those bad guys coming after you. So you got the cards of the bad guys that will be more apocalyptically themed. And you have the different types of enhancements and things that you can do to make it so that you can be stronger or have a better chance of running away. So I think it's kind of funny that they're doing this. I mean, people have been thinking of the apocalypse, 2012, that wonderful movie. I say kind of jokingly, considering it was not a great movie. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was kind of fun seeing one concept of how the world could have all this weird stuff happen, but, watching them narrowly escaping time and time again, man, those guys were lucky in that movie. At any rate, I think it's kind of cool that they're doing this. And with Fantasy Flight Games, you have a couple living card game releases. A living card game is different than the traditional customizable card game. With customizable card games, you get a whole bunch of cards just so you can get these few cards that you need. Unless you're willing to spend the money to go to the card shop and buy a card for $16, $20 or whatever the card is going for. And in lieu of that type of a format, a living card game has a core set, which is kind of like the main set of rules for the card game, and it has the different types of characters, equipment, and things that you need depending on the kind of card game it is. And then what happens is every month you get a different chapter pack, a different pack that has different types of things to it to change the flavor of the game throughout the year, throughout its cycle. And so we have the Game of Thrones card game, and with this one it's called A Turn of the Tide. It is the 4th chapter in A Song of Sea Cycle. And this one, you kind of, the basic idea is that after all of these devastating battles that have happened, the different houses have to sit back, lick their wounds, and figure out what they're going to do next. And one of the gameplay mechanics that's added to one of the houses is that you can when you play a certain card, you can also use that card to get a card from the disposal pile. And so it's kind of interesting seeing how you're having that Game of Thrones world in this card game. And this one's dealing, I guess, a little more with the seas. I mean, you think a turn of the tide sounds like it's going to be dealing a little more with the sea, but at least with one of the houses specifically. Then you also have Warhammer Invasion. You have the first battle pack for the Days of Blood cycle. And with this one, you introduce some new keywords like ambush and raider. And then, of course, you improve some of this different aspects of the armies and the units that you have in this battle. You have certain cards that you can choose to not do a battle phase and just gain resources and build things up, knowing in the back of your mind that war is coming, because these are the Days of Blood. So it's kind of interesting seeing how you had these different types of card games. Because I remember when I first was introduced to card games, I only knew the customizable or trading card games ones. And then doing some reading as time went on, I saw how people kind of got disillusioned with the whole having to buy so many cards. And you're only getting one or two cards. And so you have this living card game idea come up. There's also deck builder games, or one of the things I think is pretty interesting, though, is that with, I think it's a Star Trek or Star Wars, I can't remember which one, card game, you also have the ability for people to make their own proxies, to make their own sets of cards. So I think it's cool that for people who like that particular system, you can actually go in and print the cards and play with those. So it's kind of cool to see that that system can still be thriving even in this culture or this time frame that's kind of walked away from it. So you have these two card games. Another card game. Now this isn't a card game that just came out. I just saw that it's kind of made the news. It made the news this month. That is Star Fluxx. Flux is a game where it's always in flux. That's kind of the whole point of it. You have a basic rule, you draw a card and play a card. Throughout the game, those rules can change and other rules can be added. You have goals you're trying to get. You have these keepers that you get to win the goal, and these creepers, which are objects you don't want that prevent you from winning. So it is a fun way to have this game, because it's ever-changing. You never know how the game is going to go. It can be a quick game that's over like that, or it can be a game that you're going on and on and on, and things are changing around. It's just very random because it's always in flux. Well, Will Wheaton has a show on tabletop games called Tabletop. This show, in episode 16, which was just released, featured Star Fluxx, one of the later themed versions of Flux, which adds some additional features like the creepers can actually attach to keepers to negate them. So it actually changes some of the rules, and it's gotten a little more complex. But don't worry, the rules will change anyways. One of my favorite Flux games. Well, I've only played Zombies and Monty Python, and I have to say Monty Python was just funny. It's fun being able to like quote the lines and have some special features or dealing with those creatures. I just found that I really enjoyed that one, just the flavor of it and how it interacted. Well, my name is Joshua. You can email me at letsrollgaming@gmail.com with any questions or thoughts. I'm still working on the website. I'm hoping to get it up soon. It's just, life is just kind of hectic. But you just, have a fun time playing games. Go roll some dice or draw a card. Have a great weekend. It's the middle of the week. Have a great night. Goodbye.